Okay, so I'm always practicing finding a better mood, just what we all talked about. But when I think about something that's bigger, that I really want, that's big to me, for example, acting, I really want to do acting, but I've been here in LA for 15 years, small roles here and there. So whenever I think about where I want to be, I think positively about it. But there's always something in the back of my mind that says,
do you know how everyone creates? We've said a lot of words here today, but I want to give you a really simple statement. Everybody's creating their own reality, but you know what the factor is in the reality that you're creating? Your expectation. What you just said to us is, I have a desire, but my expectation is not up to speed with my desire. Then that begs the next question. Well, where are you getting your expectation? Well, I'm basing it on what I've been observing. And what I'm observing isn't what I want, but I've observed it so much that it's my expectation. So that suggests that you want to look someplace else. Jerry and Esther have a dear friend. She's a psychologist, a coach, a counselor, a really good one. And she lives on the East Coast. She's mostly retired now, but years ago when Esther had more time and they were allowing telephone conversations through Esther with others. And this woman called on a regular basis. And sometimes she would talk about something that was happening with someone that she was wanting to help. One of her clients who was a particularly stubborn case. And so she would want our point of view on what was the path of least resistance to help them find a breakthrough. And she discovered through one of our processes that if she would write a story, like a script, of their experience, so that it took a dominant place in her vibration, so that she believed the story she was writing about them more than the story that they were telling her, that as she hooked in with her inner being's point of view, she had more power of influence. And then in her conversations with them, she could bring them into expecting better things for themselves. So, for example, she has a son who is a magnificent cabinet maker who didn't have any business or not enough. And his cabinets were the best, and people that had them really appreciated them, but he didn't have enough business. And so his mother, who had been listening to him complaining about not having enough business for many years, his business was 10 years old, heard us one day saying, you cannot let your expectation about his business be based upon what's been going on or even what is going on, because there's a vibrational version of it that we'd like to tell you. So we told her the vibrational version. We told her what he had created, that his suffering had created more business, and that his belief that there was only one of him had created more tools. And a lot of things had changed in his vibrational business that he had not let change in his physical reality. So his expectation was stuck in a place that wasn't serving him, but his inner being's expectation was a whole other story. So we told her that story, and then she began writing that story. She wrote it down. She didn't use her computer. She wrote it longhand. Every day, she wrote for a few minutes about that new story. And it was less than 1 week before his telephone started ringing. Now, why is that? What is this power of influence? In this case, we're talking about a mother having positive influence when she changed her expectation about her son. Can you imagine the power that you have when you change your expectation about yourself? Can you imagine if you could tell the story that your inner being knows until you own it, until it's your story? Your expectation is your point of attraction. And you can tell by the way you feel whether you're in sync with the story that your inner being is telling or at odds with it on every subject. So you want to ask your inner being for their story, for their version of you as an actor, if you still care about that, because your inner being has a story to tell. And if you believe that your inner being exists, and you believe that your inner being has a perspective, and you're willing to listen to the expectation, listen to the story that your inner being tells you, and you're willing to practice it until it's the dominant vibration within you, then what you're outputting will be in sync with what your inner being is outputting, and what comes to you will reflect the change in your expectation. We used to talk about bridging beliefs, but it's a more powerful word. Change your expectation. Practice an expectation that pleases you.